Driver Marty Suapai has done all the hard work, battling through Auckland's morning rush hour traffic by the time Trevor gets behind the wheel of New Zealand's first Kenworth Legend 900. Marty's cleared the commuter chaos, and we're at the BP Dairy Flat motorway rest stop when Trev climbs up into the Legend's cab via its two rail steps that run the length of the fuel tank. They're not overly deep, so it's tow hold only, but the tread plate gives a good footing. There's a full-length grab handle on the back edge of the door opening and a small grab handle just above the cab floor at the front. The small handle helps you get up into the first step, but after that you need to reach up to either the door itself or the steering wheel for a higher grip. Once in the cab, the traditional Kenworth styling is immediate, with a flat dash, no wraparound here, and a long gear stick up through the floor. The dash layout is clean and easy to see with a full bank of gauges over to the left. All major switches are on a panel to the right of the gauges, and traction control switches are mounted at the bottom of the dash. Immediately in front is the speedo and tacho, and to the left, 4 more gauges for fuel, temperature and air suspension pressures. The gauges having a nice white background, making them easy to read at a glance. There's a good range of steering column adjustment, both up and down and fore and aft, and the Esri Pro driver seat, with its smarter embroidery and red stitching, gives great support and slides right at the back of the cab. The Legend 900's cab is certainly not one of the roomiest, so it's a nice snug feeling environment for both truck and driver journalists Mike Stock and Trevor. After a quick familiarisation, it's time to head north and we pull out onto the Northern Gateway motorway, picking up gears easily, even with our 44.5 tonne all-up weight. The Legend has an Eaton Fuller 18-speed Road Ranger gearbox, and it's great to get back to changing gears manually again after a few AMT tests. Gear shifts are nice and smooth with an excellent feel back through the stick, and the engine hardly needs to get over 1500 RPM before you take another gear. The Cummins X15 is rated up to 431 kilowatts, 578 horsepower, at 1800 RPM with peak torque 2500 Newton meters at 1200 RPM. It's not the highest power rating available for this engine, but it certainly handles the 44.5 tonne load without struggling. At this point, Trevor finds one slight issue with the driving position. Throttle and brake pedal are both set back and feel like they should be further forward. Their positioning means quite a bend in the knee and ankle, even with the seat right back. It's a bit uncomfortable until getting used to it, and you find yourself lifting your foot right off the floor to move between the throttle and brake pedal. You also need to be careful that the side of your boot doesn't catch the side of the brake pedal when putting your foot back down on the throttle. On the motorway, it's easy to get to 90 k's an hour and hold the speed. Out front is another traditional Kenworth feature, the flat, wide bonnet that gives absolutely no view of the front left-hand corner of the truck. At first, Trevor found that he's driving further to the right than ideal, but it doesn't take long to work out that, using the same trick he used in the recent Max Superliner test, to help road positioning by lining up the bonnet badge with the white line on the side of the road. It's possible to achieve spot-on truck position, keeping well to the left. Most of the few slight climbs we encounter can be taken in top gear, but on a couple, Trevor drops a split just to keep the revs over 1000 RPM. The first real climb comes heading up onto the windy ridge just north of Puoi. We steadily lose gears. There's no rush to grab another gear as the engine pulls nicely, just slowly dropping revs down to the next downshift, and we come through the steepest part at 30 k's an hour, running at 1400 RPM. Once we're up on Windy Ridge, it's back up to top gear with just a split needed at the end of the straight along the top, and then it's down the other side. For the long, straight downhill run, Trevor finds he needs to drop 2 full gears to get the engine brake working, and needs a couple of touches on the brake pedal to steady the truck. It's a good test run up the stretch of SH1 that's going to be replaced by the new Puoi to Warkworth extension that the load's destined for. The existing road isn't the smoothest around and has several steep hills and winding sections to test the power and handling of any truck. Performance through the corners is very positive with good feedback through the steering, and the truck sits nice and steady on the road. The Transfleet trailer tracks nicely even through some of the bumpier parts. Mirrors are traditional West Coasters and provide good rear vision, however the smaller convex mirrors mounted below the main mirrors could ideally be relocated further outboard. They tend to show a lot of the side of the cab and the exhaust shrouds and less of the road down beside the truck. It's a good drive through to Warkworth where we have to give Marty his truck back as we haven't done the safety induction for the construction site in the tip-off. The Legend 900 may not have all the bells and whistles of many modern trucks, but this is an iconic Kenworth with a traditional, classic, big square bonnet, plenty of bling, and that traditional flat dash. Trucks like this limited edition reinforce the Kenworth legend.